Good evening. Call to order this March 1st meeting of the Winston-Salem City Council. Pursuant to the policies and procedures adopted by this City Council relative to virtual meetings, I've determined that it's not practical or feasible for the City Council and I to meet together physically tonight. So therefore, all council members are participating virtually. Council members will vote by roll call. They'll be recognized, raise their hand, and state their vote. Would the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Larson.
Present.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Mundy.
Present.
Councilmember Scipio.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Here.
Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Thank you. As we approach the time we do our annual or our weekly moment of silence, I just wanted to call attention to today. A special ceremony was held. Mayor Pro Tem Adams, Councilmember Scipio, and Councilmember Mundy were at, where they unveiled an honorary street sign recognizing the first 8 African-American firefighters who joined the Winston-Salem Fire Department 70 years ago. Certainly a great day to recognize them and a great a contribution that was made to our city. So thank you for representing our city today. And we should pause as we do a moment of silence to remember those 8 individuals who made a big difference in the life of our city. Would you join me in a moment of silence? Thank you very much. Council members, before we go into the agenda, I just wanted to call our attention. I know you're aware, but for the public's awareness, due to the League of Cities meeting, we're pushing back the committee member meetings to March 15th and 16th, respectively, and the City Council meeting will be pushed back to March 22nd. So please take note of that. Tonight's agenda of the City Council is comprised of the following items. There's a rezoning petition for reasonable accommodation, an item related to a voluntary annexation, an item related to the lease agreement for the Grand Pavilion and Conference Center, as well as a closed session. The zoning petition, the voluntary annexation, and the lease agreement are listed as public hearings. When the public hearings are called, persons will be given an opportunity to speak virtually. If no one wishes to speak, I'll close the public hearing and the City Council will consider the item. We will continue to accept written comments on the public hearing items until 7 p.m. tomorrow, March the 2nd. Written comments may be sent to the City Clerk's office at P.O. Box 2511, 27102, or by email to sandrak@cityofws.org. The written comments, if any, will be forwarded to the mayor and members of the City Council. And if desired, the appropriate City Council member, based on the written comments, can make a motion to reconsider an item at a subsequent meeting. We're televising this meeting live tonight on TV 13, and then will be replayed again tomorrow at 9 a.m. and again Wednesday at 9 p.m. Of course, copies of our agenda as well as videos of previous meetings are always available online at the city's website, and just click on the Watch Meetings Online option. Ms. Kenny, would you read the first item, please?
Item D1, continuation of public hearing on zoning petition of 1520 Doom Street for reasonable accommodations. This item was continued from the November 4th, 2019, January 6th, 2020, and the June 1st, 2020 City Council meetings.
Councilmember, as you saw here, the petitioner is asking to continue this till February 7th, 2022. I think staff is fully much in agreement with that. And Councilmember Larson, this is in your ward, so I would recognize you for a motion if you're, excuse me, it's a continuation, so I would recognize you for a motion.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. Based on the recommendations of City Council, I move that item Z1 be postponed or continued until February 7th, 2022.
I second that motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Taylor. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, I'll do the roll call. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy.
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yay.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
And Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
And that is unanimous to continue this until February of 2022. Item Z2.
Item Z2, public hearing on a petition for the voluntary annexation of approximately 30.50 acres located on the western end of Cedar Mirror Drive, containing Wood Duck Lane and Maple Chase Road, known as Brookberry Farm, located in the West Ward. Petition of Brookberry Farms LLC, recommended by Public Works Committee.
This is a public hearing. I understand that no one is on the line to comment on this, so therefore I will close the public hearing. I'll recognize Councilmember Clark.
If the staff could do just a quick presentation of this, please.
Yes, Aaron, would you please give us a brief?
Meredith, can you let me share my screen, please? Okay, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. This is a voluntary annexation request out in Brookberry Farms. We see these periodically as that neighborhood develops. This was originally rezoned by the county, and it's been the practice in Brookberry Farms as a new section is developed. It is submitted for voluntary annexation into the city limits. And if you can see the screen there, it shows you the area in question, just a little over 30 acres. This would be in the far northern edge of Brookberry Farms, the far northwest corner. You can see the subject property outlined there in yellow. One thing that's a little bit different about this request than previous annexation requests is this area has already been lotted off, and some of those lots have been transferred to new owners. Things got a little bit out of sequence there on the annexation side. Typically, the land is annexed and then lots are transferred. But nonetheless, this is the request for about 30.5 acres to come into the city limits at the far northwest corner of Brookberry Farms. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. King?
Mayor?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Mr. King, these lots, is the developer asking for the annexation, or does the lot owners ask for annexation? How does that go?
In this case, Brookberry Farms LLC requested it, and we have signatures from each individual property owner consenting to it.
And Mr. King, I know you might not know this, but since the General Assembly made the law that cities could no longer annex, it would be good to know, since that law passed, how many properties or acreage have we annexed to the city? And do you see an increase of people asking for that? And if they do, what usually is the reason that people want to be annexed into Winston-Salem?
Mayor Pro Tem, I don't know the acreage number off the top of my head, but we can get that for you. We can track down the date that legislation went into place, and we can give you a figure on how many acres have come into the city since then. There's a variety of reasons that folks have come in. Some are because they need to hook on the city streets to get service. Some are for economic development reasons. So it's kind of a mixed bag. I don't think there's one that stands out. There's a mixture of reasons there, but we can certainly get you that number on acres that have come in since then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Clark, if you're ready for a motion.
Yes, is Mr. King, excuse me.
Councilmember McIntosh, I didn't see your hand.
Yeah, sorry. Question for Aaron. Aaron, can you tell the public what the process is, or what, when this gets annexed by us, the streets become public streets, is that not correct?
Correct. They're eligible for maintenance by the city at that point, yes.
And they're eligible for maintenance if we accept them, right? If they're up to the standards that that meet our requirements. So we're not obligated to take on a ribbon piece of road that's going to require a whole lot of additional maintenance and input from the city down the road.
Correct. These streets still have to meet city construction standards, which these do.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember McIntosh. Any other questions? Councilmember Mundy.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Aaron, it looks like there still could be some more development to come based on this map, some undeveloped area. Do we know if Brookberry is going to continue to expand? Is this the first of maybe several annexations to come?
Councilmember Mundy, this Brookberry has a long history. It's several hundred acres of land We've already seen quite a bit developed that has come into the city limits, and there is still quite a significant amount of land that will be developed and that will be annexed into the city of Winston-Salem in the future. So this will not be the last one of these you see, I can promise you that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember Clark?
Yes, thank you. As Mr. King just mentioned, as Brookberry fills up one area, they develop the next and annex it in. This is actually number 7. I think when I came on the council, we may have been on number 3. So, Mr. Mundy, it's probably every 3 years or so we'll annex something in. But with that, I move for approval of item Z2.
Second, McIntosh.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, we go to the roll call. A yes vote approves the petition for annexation. Councilmember Larson?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy?
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntosh?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Thank you. We'll have item Z3, please.
Item Z3, public hearing on resolution authorizing amendments to the Grand Pavilion and Conference Center lease agreement with PM Meeting Venue LLC, located in the North Ward, recommended by Finance Committee.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. I don't believe anyone's on the line to be heard on this matter. So therefore, I will close the public hearing. This did come from the Finance Committee with a unanimous recommendation, and I recognize Councilmember Clark for a motion if he's ready.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it would be appropriate to get a brief presentation on this, and I'm trying to think who would be.
Mr. Rao, I think, would be.
Mr. Rao, yeah. Mr. Rao, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just a few minutes. Everybody knows what we're doing.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor Joines, Mayor Pro Tempore Adams, and members of the City Council. Back in the fall of 2017, the Embassy Suites Hotel was sold, and the city's lease for the Grand Pavilion Conference Center was assigned to PM Meeting Venue LLC. Fast forward a couple of years, due to a lack of profitability and some significant capital investments that the hotel owner had to make, the PM Meeting Venue LLC ceased making lease payments to the city starting in September of 2019. Obviously, not long after that, the pandemic hit and basically shut down the travel and tourism industry, and the PM Meeting Venue continued to accumulate delinquent payments due to the pandemic, so a total of $800,000 in outstanding lease payments to the city. The city staff has been working with the hotel owner to come up with a lease amendment. The action before you tonight is an amendment to the lease for the Grand Pavilion Conference Center space. The goals for this amendment are twofold. One is for the city to recover the $800,000 that is due to the city. There's a payment plan that would be provided for in the amendment. The first $360,000 of that, what we're calling the pre-pandemic payments, would be paid out on a monthly basis through 2023. And then the remaining $440,000, what we're calling the pandemic payments, will be due by the end of December of 2030. Secondly, this lease amendment will transfer management and operation of the space over to the city. Prior to the Embassy Suites changing ownership, the Twin City Quarter, as we call it, with the Marriott and the Embassy and the Benton, was managed. The two hotels were owned by one entity, and the whole Twin City Quarter was managed by one entity. Since the Embassy was sold, there's been now two owners of the hotels, and also there are now two operators for the city's space. So this lease amendment would enable the city to bring management of its space under one operator, which is our current operator of the Benton. So the city would still have all of the remedies that are available to it in the current lease if PM Meeting Venue does not make the payments, the $800,000 that's established under this lease. And then once the payments are made, the lease would terminate. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Rao? Thank you very much, Mr. Rao. I recognize Mr. Clark, Chairman of Finance.
As we all know, hotels and meeting places have had a tough time. I think the staff's done a good job of negotiating as best we can on this. It is a bit tired down there. We're going to be doing some cosmetic improvements to it, carpeting and things of that sort, lighting. With that, I move approval of item Z3.
Second, Scipio.
Thank you, Councilmember Scipio. Any further discussion? Not, we'll go to a roll call. A yes vote approves this new lease agreement. Councilmember Larson,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy,
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor, Councilmember McIntosh,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Council members, as you know, we have a need to go into a closed session to discuss a public safety item. In that regard, I recognize the chairman of the Public Safety Committee, Councilmember Taylor, for a motion.
Mayor and members of the council, I move that the Winston-Salem City Council go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318, 11A, 1 and A3, to prevent the disclosure of information considered confidential pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 160A-168, or protected from public disclosure pursuant to General Statute 132-14 and 2, to consult with and provide instructions to the city attorney regarding a legal matter and to preserve the attorney-client privilege.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Do a roll call. Will be a yes vote will approve us going into a closed session. Councilmember Larson,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy,
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor, Councilmember McIntosh,
Aye.
and Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous. We will go into a closed session. Meredith will move over automatically. Okay, may I have a motion to end the closed session?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second, McIntosh.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to end the closed session. Councilmember Larson, vote yes with the end of closed session.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy,
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor, Councilmember McIntosh,
Aye.
and Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. We're now back into open session. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Larson.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you very much. I have a motion to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed to adjourning, say no. Very good. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
See y'all in 2 weeks.